You're logged on to THG Network, and this is THG News Today with Mervyn Hanley. Good morning. It is Tuesday, October 17th. This morning's news is powered by Colin Sun on St. Maarten. We will hear from them shortly, but while we're on that break, please be sure to like and to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So yes, while you're there viewing the Colin Sun's ad, remember to subscribe, so you don't miss anything on this network, and for sure, you do not miss anything from THG News Today. We will be right back after this, but remember to subscribe. We'll be back. Colin Suns have been serving the people of St. Maarten for over 40 years, and the food and service get better and better. From early morning, customers flock to the bakery for their favorite sandwiches, cakes, pastries, you name it. First thing at mornings and last thing at afternoons, folks rush to Colin Sun's for simply the best. There are two locations, Colbay and on the Paulwell. In Colbay, the opening hours are Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Sundays, 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Opening hours on the Paulwell, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also cater for weddings, parties, special events, whatever the occasion. It's Colin Sun's. Our staff, we are always happy to serve you. Call us today, the Colbay location, 721-544-2462. That's 721-544-2462. Or in Phillipsburg, 721-543-1059. That's 721-543-1059. It's Colin Sun Bakery. We are here to serve you. The St. Maarten Police Force is deeply concerned about several recent incidents involving minors in the community. On the evening of October 12th, about 8 p.m., Central Dispatch received several distressing calls reporting a group of young boys engaged in destructive behavior, throwing rocks and causing damage to a hotel located on the Bush Road and other businesses in the area. Responding to the situation, officers patrolled the area and encountered a group of young men near Roses Road. Upon spotting the police, they attempted to flee, seeking refuge in the nearby bushes. Following a brief search, officers apprehended two individuals, both minors, aged 12 and 13 years old, and when they were approached by the officers, these young men became confrontational and attempted to engage in physical altercation. The St. Maarten Police Force reminds parents and guardians of their crucial role in curbing the unruly behavior of minors. The parents of the apprehended minors were contacted and requested to appear at the Phillipsburg police station. At the station, they were informed about their legal responsibilities and the potential consequences of their children's actions. It was emphasized that parents can be held liable for the actions of their minor children. After a thorough discussion, both minors were released into the custody of their parents, with a stern warning about the need for responsible parenting and guidance. The St. Maarten Police Force urges all parents to be vigilant, engage with their children, and actively participate in instilling positive values within them. The Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority announced on Saturday that several water samples collected and tested during an exercise the day prior had shown elevated levels of lead and copper, according to the VI Consortium News. The authority said 35 of the 66 samples collected showed these concerning results. However, WAPA says that the issue may be related to stagnant water, as the presence of the detected heavy metals in the vast majority of cases, according to WAPA, was greatly reduced or eliminated after water lines were flushed and retested. However, even after the flushing, testing in Diamond Castleberg Community, Culcahoon, still showed elevated levels of copper and lead. WAPA says that further investigation is needed before final conclusions can be reached. The Environmental Protection Agency, which is working together with WAPA, the Department of Planning and Natural Resources, and the University of the Virgin Islands on the St. Croix Water Testing Project, has committed to providing technical assistance in support of a comprehensive resampling effort, the WAPA announcement said. Meanwhile, in addition to taking secondary samples, WAPA said it continues to flush water lines across the distribution system, concentrating on the 4 communities which are still showing elevated levels of copper and lead. WAPA notes that work continues to overhaul the entire water distribution system on St. Croix as a longer-term fix to the problems of water discoloration and metal contamination. Still in the U.S. Virgin Islands, the status of the relationship between Governor Albert Bryan Jr. and his wife, First Lady Yolanda Bryan, is deteriorating, with the two having essentially separated. Though the First Lady still lives at Government House, say people with knowledge of the strained marriage. Things are so bad, according to the people, that private issues are spilling over into the public, and many are concerned about the governor's ability to effectively lead the U.S. Virgin Islands as his relationship with his wife takes a turn for the worst. And again, this is coming from the VI Consortium News. Mr. Bryan, who ran for office as a family man, bringing a sense of decorum to Government House, firmly asserts that personal matters do not impede his leadership capabilities. And while he initially emphasized in a recent interview with the consortium that his personal life remains private, he later acknowledged that constituents may be concerned about whether such matters are affecting his official decisions. I think that when there is an official statement to be made, I will make a statement, Mr. Bryan told the consortium during an interview on Thursday at Government House in St. Thomas. Because to your point, the people not only need to know, but there are people who are concerned about what's going on in my private and personal life. But what I am saying to people is that is not an issue with me. I think we're moving along at a good pace. We're having a good year. Earlier in the interview, he stated, "Am I being affected by personal matters in my life? I don't think so. I'm in a good place mentally. I think I'm getting my rest. I'm doing a lot of the stuff that I couldn't do in my first term because of COVID. Remember, 2.5 years building relationships for the Virgin Islands in the tourism sector, as well as in the political arena." He added, "I've been married for 27 years, and I always said to Yolanda, I'm married to the people of the Virgin Islands for the next 8. That's my first priority. Every day that I wake up, I'm thinking about them. So that's what I am working on now." Former member of the U.S. Virgin Islands Senate, Ms. Janelle Saru, commented on the consortium's news post by saying, "Truthfully speaking, the public doesn't need to know the intricacies of anything, but the First Lady is assigned to security, there's a budget for her to execute her initiatives, and more. Those are funded by taxpayer dollars. If there is no First Lady, then the matter is public because public funds are involved. Secondly, across the world, whenever a governor separates from his wife, he issues a statement saying irreconcilable differences, and then they move on with few or no details. Lastly, when you campaign messy and drag people's lives the way they did with their fake Facebook pages and extra BS, karma has a way of returning the favor." Ouch. That's from the former member of Senate, Janelle Saru. But the governor said something that stood out to me. Yes, his private life is his personal life, and the former Senator Janelle, her statement is correct. But the governor said something that I can't get over, and I'm trying to find it. Just bear with me for a second. He added, "I've been married for 27 years, and I always said to Yolanda, that's his wife, I am married to the people of the Virgin Islands for the next 8. That's my first priority." That's a crazy statement, if you ask me. Your first priority is the people? Well, I mean, it sounds good politically. But no, Governor. What about your wife and your family? That's your priority. Yes, you're giving a service to the people, but your first priority, the people. A political statement, but it says, now I think we're getting a pretty good idea of why, well, I guess things are the way they are in their marriage. Yeah? Okay, let's move on to the final story for this morning, and it is a pretty sad story. It is a devastating story. It is a heartbreaking story. And I will take my time so you can understand and follow this story out of Jamaica. Philip Paulwell, an opposition parliamentarian, hopes that all those involved in the kidnapping and murder of his 10-month-old daughter and her mother are brought to justice and punished to the fullest extent of the law. Nothing could have prepared Paulwell for the events that have unfolded since last week Thursday, when police in Jamaica charged Leota Bradshaw, a U.S. Navy petty officer, with whom Paulwell had now a 8-year-old child, along with 3 other men in the abduction and murder of his daughter Soraya and her mother Tashina Patterson. The past few weeks have been extremely difficult for me as I grappled with the abduction of my daughter and her mother, said the Member of Parliament for Kingston East and Port Royal in a statement. I am heartbroken that the worst has happened, adding that he prayed unceasingly for their safe return. That anyone could murder a mother and an innocent baby is unimaginable, and my heart is heavy with sadness, he told reporters. I am praying for Tashina's family, who I know are going through unbearable grief and pain as a result of the loss of their beloved daughter and granddaughter. As a human being, father, lawyer, and legislator, I am hoping that all who were involved are brought to justice and punished to the fullest extent of the law. Paulwell stated that he has been in frequent contact with the authorities and has completely cooperated with the inquiry. I am unable to comment on the investigations or the matters before the court, but I would like to thank the police for their tireless efforts. He thanked the many Jamaicans for their prayers, as well as their kind and thoughtful expressions of love, support, and solidarity for him and his family. Bradshaw appeared in the Supreme Court last Friday after being charged with 2 counts of abduction conspiracy, 2 counts of murder conspiracy, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 2 counts of capital murder. According to the Crown, Bradshaw, who lives abroad, contacted Patterson on Facebook on September 5, 2023, after learning about Paulwell's 10-month-old daughter's existence and requesting a DNA test on the child. The next day, September 6, 2023, she traveled to Jamaica for the sole purpose of killing Tashina Patterson and the young child she shared with her spouse, according to the Crown. The Crown also claimed that Bradshaw hired individuals to kidnap and murder Patterson and Soraya through her cousin and co-accused Roland Balfour. Balfour has been charged with 2 counts of kidnapping accessory before the fact and 2 counts of murder accessory before the fact. Another suspect, Richard Brown, has been charged with 2 counts of murder conspiracy, 2 counts of kidnapping conspiracy, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 2 counts of murder. Roshane Miller, the third accused in this case, has been charged with 2 charges of kidnapping accessory before the fact and 2 counts of murder accessory before the fact. Brown and Miller are scheduled to appear in court later this month. Prosecutors claim Bradshaw met with Miller and Brown to plan the kidnappings and murders. The first intention was to take Patterson and the baby away from their house. Prosecutors testified in court that Bradshaw paid the guys the equivalent of 100,000 Jamaican dollars in US dollars as a down payment for the crime's execution. The remaining money, $400,000, were to be paid after the transaction was completed. Prosecutors said Bradshaw placed several calls and conversed with Patterson with the intent of luring her away from her premises on Saturday, September 9th, arriving at Patterson's home at 7 a.m. that day. Evidence shows Patterson leaving her property and entering an SUV parked at her gate with her baby. According to the evidence, she was in this vehicle for more than 15 minutes. The vehicle subsequently drove away and left the neighborhood about 7:22 a.m. Patterson and Soraya never got out of the car before it left, the prosecutor told presiding Supreme Court Justice Simone Wolfe-Rees on Friday. According to the Crown, Bradshaw brought Patterson to Stony Hill near her home and handed over Patterson and her young child to Brown and other individuals who have yet to be captured. After this, Patterson and her young child were taken to Waurika Hills, where they were shot, where they were killed, and where they burned the bodies of this mother and the 10-month-old child, according to the evidence presented to the court. A sick, mad, jealous woman. Oh my God. So she has a child for the parliamentarian in Jamaica. She went to Jamaica and killed the 10-month-old child and the child's mother over jealousy. So if you can't have the man, nobody else can, including a 10-month-old child. I mean, the mother, come on. Once the evidence has proven to be true, and once they're found guilty, and I agree with the parliamentarian Paulwell when he said that he wants those involved brought to justice and punished to the fullest extent of the law. Sick people. Mad people. I am Mervyn Hanley. This has been THG News Today. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. Do join me again tomorrow for a similar presentation. Have a good day, people.